What is up, YouTube? We are here with another Principles of Economics series where we are studying the 10 principles of economics that Greg Mankiw has assembled and put out, and we're taking a look at how they apply to Path of Exile. So today's section title is about markets, that markets are usually a good way to organize economic activity. Now, the basic principle behind this is that market prices reflect both the value of a product to buyers and the cost of the resources to acquire for sellers. So, in other words, when you're looking at an item, let's say in the market environment of Path of Exile, the price is going to be friction or difference or a tipping point, whatever it is that you want to call it. The point at which an item will sell, that tipping point, that precise point of purchase or sale, is exactly reflecting the demand from buyers and the price point for profit margin for sellers. So it factors in both the desire to buy as well as the cost to acquire and then sell. So, a definition for a market economy is simply this, that a market economy is an economy that allocates resources through the decentralized decisions of many buyers and sellers as they interact in markets for goods and services. So, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, it means that when you interact with somebody in Path of Exile, whether that's through chat in trade, or whether that's through a website, or a web app, or maybe a friend in a guild, or maybe a friend in global chat that you've just met, or maybe somebody that you're interacting with in your guild or in the Patreon Discord even, right? Depending on how it is that you're interacting, as soon as you begin interacting with someone in a purchasing or selling decision-making process, that creates a market economy. When there's a bunch of people doing that, it creates an even bigger economy for more decisions and decision makers to influence that economy. Now, some examples of this in your own life. So, market economies are all around us all the time. So, for instance, if I were to ask you, what's the cheapest stores in your own town? Maybe for clothes, or maybe for food, or maybe for furniture, or maybe if I want to buy a car. You know right away what are the cheapest stores in town, where you can go to spend the least amount of money to get a good back. Now, you also know and probably can differentiate between the cheapest stores in town and maybe the highest quality stores in town. Oftentimes, a market determining factor is quality versus quantity. Can I get something cheaply, or do I need to pay a little bit more but I get better quality back? You probably know this in your own town. What are the cheapest stores in your own town? A second example would be the best internet provider in your area. As I'm interacting with our Patreon donors, or even just with other folks on Path of Exile, or just hanging out, there's lots and lots of wonderful folks that are saying, oh, I've just now upgraded my internet from such and such download speed and such upload speed, and I was able to get this new internet because these new internet providers are now available in town, which is great. But it is a market, right? Depending on your market forces or your market influences that are influencing the buyers in the area to pay a service provider, and depending from the seller's perspective, the internet service provider's perspective, how many people in the area are going to want to buy our internet. So these are market forces that explain a market for internet providers in your area. Lastly, the third example, a lot of people inside gaming and in the gaming business and gaming industry use entertainment hours per dollar spent as a measurement for value of free-to-play games. So Path of Exile is a free-to-play game, and one of the ways that people value the hundreds of, even thousands of dollars that they spend supporting a game like Path of Exile is evaluated based on the number of hours of entertainment that you're getting. So, for instance, a couple of years ago, I bought a AAA titled game, played it for about 30 hours worth of gameplay that I got. So I paid full market value at the time when it was released. So it was a $60 game, and I played it for about 30 hours. So that means I was paying about $2 per hour as an entertainment ratio of what I was paying for my entertainment. Now, if I said that I've played over 2,500 hours of Path of Exile, and then I said, hey, I've spent way less than $2,500 on Exile, or even way less than $5,000 on Exile, on Path of Exile, then that shows that I'm getting way more value out of Path of Exile in terms of the dollars spent for the entertainment hours provided. This is another example of markets in your own life and how gamers and game companies use market, the general principles of a market economy for whether or not they're going to go free to play and what sort of business decisions that they make. So, the section takeaway today is simply this: to consider the supply and demand of the market economy as you make purchases and as you make sales. So if you are going to purchase something or you're going to sell something, you need to consider the supply and the demand of the economic market space that you're entering into, of the economy. So if you buy something, let's say a divination card at a certain price, and then you sell it for a price that's cheaper, you're losing money. This is kind of a duh thing, but this is the general principle behind it. Why is it that it's a duh? Hey, you want to buy low and sell high. Why is that? What is it that impacts these moves within an economy? Well, it's the market economy. It's a series of decentralized decisions by a whole bunch of buyers and sellers at once. So consider the supply and demand. Every single day when I get online to start making trades, I go and I look at the market economy. That's the first thing that I do. If I boot up Path of Exile beforehand, I'm going to get a bunch of PMs and a bunch of people wanting to trade based on prices that were set probably 8 to 12 to 24 hours between whatever my play session was. So I always want to go back and check the market economy before I make purchases and before I make sales to make sure that I'm staying up to date with the market economy and staying up to date with the other buyers and sellers. If you like this video, go ahead and check out the rest of our series. Stay tuned for more. And as always, you can click on the bottom for more information about our Patreon, how to support the channel, how to get exclusive Discord perks, and even how to chat and interact, and I'll help you out with your build. So you can see all that information down at the bottom there of the YouTube video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more PoE daily content.